So we good now.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So Black Box Radio. I am doing something new today, Black Boxers. I am streaming live in the Facebook and YouTube with my mindset strategist. I was gonna
Yes,
say,
ma'am.
yeah, I got a great guest today in QueenDoM. I have GaLanda B. I am
Wow.
yes, I'm
Yes.
so happy to have you.
Yes, I'm so glad to be here.
So we're going to talk about mindset and mindfulness and all of that good stuff.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
when I told people about you, I was like, listen, I'm going to have this lady on and she's a mindset strategist. You know what they said to me? What's
Well,
that?
I
What that is? People about you. I was like, listen, I'm going to have this lady. You got to mute that, sis.
am. I was trying to like watch the Facebook comments too so I could respond, but I ain't gonna do all that.
No, you ain't going to be able to do all that.
No, I'm not.
So, yeah, so definitely they was like, what's that? What she do? So that's what I'm asking. What's that? What you do?
So, as a mindset strategist, I help people with their stinking thinking.
Mm.
So, if
You
you
better
are,
know it.
which is thinking, and help you to, like it says up here, increase more calm and confidence and joy in your daily life. Because I really believe that everything starts with your mind. Like you can't change anything in your life until you make up your mind that you're going to make the change. So that's what I do as a mindset strategist, is to help you retrain the way that you think as you move through this world.
Because, scientifically, there's no place for the mind. We know that it is this thing in the body, we know that it is something that we're utilizing, but there's not an actual space. You have a brain, but there's no space for this mind. But that thing controls us.
Yeah.
It's a thing that we are actually accessing every day. So you said stinking thinking.
Yes. I have to. I can't take credit for that. One of my friends and clients, that's what she said. You helped me with my stinking thinking, and I was like,
I like
you
that.
know what? That might work. So, thank you, Rachel. I'm forever in your debt for that little phrase there.
Rachel, that was lit. Stinking
Yes.
thinking. But and living, you get some stinking thinking in your life.
Absolutely.
It happens. So tell the people, like, what can they do? I mean, what can we do with this stinking thinking? How can we change it?
Well, I would say the first thing, when you're trying to change the way that you think about things, is stop thinking about what other people think about it. Right? We often project what we think, we surmise what we think other people are perceiving of us, instead of paying attention to how we really feel or what we really think. So I would say if you're trying to change the way you think, instead of looking out, look in.
Because we're always looking at, okay, well, what that, because we're dressing for other people. We a lot of us show up for other people. Like, I got to be fresh, I got to be this, I got to be that. But is it really you, or is it for the people around you? You know what I'm saying? Are we showing up for ourselves?
I don't think so. Not as much as we should. Not as much as we should. I'll give you an example. So even before the pandemic, I worked from home.
Okay.
And I love earrings. So whether I leave the house or not, I put on earrings every single day. And a different pair almost every
in the house.
In my house. By myself, me and these cats.
I love it.
I put on earrings every day because I enjoy them. They make me feel good. I like them. And some days I might not even leave out the door, but I still have my earrings on every day.
That's your thing.
That's my thing. One of my many things, but yeah, that's my thing.
So when I see you with earrings out here, that means you ain't doing that for me. You did that for you.
Honey, this is all. I probably considered 3 different pairs before I settled on these today.
Oh, you got a lot of collections as I'm getting to know you. You got the earring collection, you got plants, so just tell first before we jump in, because I just jumped right in. Tell us who GaLanda B is. Talk to us. Tell us who you are.
I mean, I'm a plant lover. That's probably how most people know me.
Okay.
Indoors, outdoors. I have a very spiritual connection to plants. They're my peace. Some other people may know me as the tech person because my what pays the bills is related to technology. So some people may know me as that. I'm a lover of music, love to dance.
Okay.
Um, I don't know. I mean, I'm there's a lot going on over here. I love to teach,
You love earrings, your herbal game,
you
come on
know.
with it.
Yeah, I love the plants. I love the herbs. I have found the practice of yoga to be integral in my life and how I move through this world.
Okay.
Um, and I really think that a lot of the practices are applicable and helpful for a lot of different people. But on a day-to-day basis, I'm either talking about mindfulness, thinking about mindfulness, reading something about psychology or neuropsychology, and plants. That's basically and cats, because I have two cats that I love dearly. I watch if I need a break from some stinking thinking. A lot of times I watch cat videos because
Cat videos.
yeah,
Listen,
cat videos.
cat
Yeah,
videos. Okay,
yeah.
listen. We
Yeah,
trying
that's my
to
little break from reality. Is this? I mean, it's still reality. It's just not my reality, and they're cute. So that's my
okay.
little break.
Well, we're trying to get to know you, so that's what you do. Okay.
Hmm.
So, upon reading your bio, it says you're a green witch. You would have to tell me what that is. What that is?
So, what folks call very much into the earth,
Okay.
into the plants, into the power that plants can bring to the greater sense of life.
Okay.
So, I did not come up with it on my own. That was someone, again, folks said, yeah, you a green witch. I said, oh, okay, let me look this up. Okay, that kind of fit. I'll take it, because I feel like there's a lot of power
Mm-hmm.
in plants and there's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
power in nature.
Yep.
So that's a moniker, a little tag that someone else gave me because of my connection to plants, because I almost always have a plant, something's going on and I'm be like, well, have you tried this? Did you drink that? Did you take this? And it's related to plants. So that's how I got that moniker.
Got it. Because I have a lot of plants. I am a plant person.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm really in love with plants. I think they do so much for your house. They clean your house.
Mm-hmm.
If a plant can't live in your house, y'all better do something. You better clean some stuff up because it's some bad energy in there.
Well, I won't necessarily say that.
Oh, that's for real. I think it's some bad energy. You can't keep no.
No, I won't necessarily say that. I think sometimes people purchase plants that don't fit their personality and lifestyle.
Oh.
And when you don't have a good plant match, then it's not going to work out. Just like if you and whoever you date is not a good match, it's not going to work out. I feel like it's a similar situation with plants. Sometimes people see plants, they really like it. Oh, I just love this. This is the greatest. But personality wise, that plant is not for you.
You know what? You just changed. You see how you just changed that right up? That might be it. You buy stuff that you can't handle.
Yeah, because some people like to give things a lot of attention, right?
Mm-hmm.
They want to touch on it, want to water it, they're kind of hovering over it. There's some plants that really just don't even like to be bothered. Like they just want you to, say hey to them once in a while, maybe water them once a month, and that's it. They don't want to be bothered. But if they're with a person who wants to give a lot of attention, they might overwater it. They might move it too much, all things that disrupt the environment that it prefers. So that's not a good plant match. A person that's like a hover person might need like a peace lily. They're real dramatic. So they don't get the attention in the water that they need. They droop, and then the hover person can, oh, come on, get them right together and they'll be fine. So it's not always that there's not good energy, not to say that does not happen. I believe that it does, but I think more times it's people have a mismatch with the type of plants that they choose. That's why I say there are no brown thumbs. That's just not a good match for you.
So the plant is just like when you're getting a mate.
Exactly.
You got to be a match.
Yeah.
Never even thought of that. But I must be matched with all my plants because we do well together.
Yes. Yes.
We definitely do well together. So okay, we're gonna jump into mindset.
Okay.
So with how did you first of all, how did you start and say, okay, I'm gonna be a mindset strategist? How did that come about? How you practice that? How did that come about?
So it was definitely an evolution for sure. I think it started out where I'm a pretty introspective person to begin with. And I do a lot of thinking just on my own, not a whole bunch of talking to other people. Um, and I read a lot of psychology related stuff, right? A lot of psychology related things. And I just was looking at different practices. There was a time in my life where had a high stress, and I was trying different things to kind of manage the stress and some of the other emotions that I had. Like at that same time, I also started tapping emotional freedom technique, EFT, it's called. And mindfulness was one of the techniques that I had found that could possibly help me during that stressful time.
Okay.
So I started practicing mindfulness, which some people equate to meditation, but it's not quite meditation exactly. And I found that helped me to better focus because my brain was just like racing, was like all over the place. And I was having a really difficult time staying in the present, right?
Okay.
So mindfulness helped me. So once I kind of got over a hump, a certain point where I didn't feel so scattered, and I was like, well, if it could help me, it could maybe help somebody else
Yeah.
with a similar situation. So then I started to search out training for it. And there was all kinds. I took cheap training, in between training, expensive training, all the in between. And I found a program that was an individualized program. You met with the instructor, you had a certain reading material, you had certain practices that you did, and it could take anywhere from 3+ months. It really just depended on your schedule and how dedicated you were to doing the practices and the steps that you needed to do.
Okay.
And so I engaged with that instructor, and I found the program to be really good. Even to this day, that person is very much available. I could email him. He responds in a timely manner. If I needed to talk to him, I could talk to him. But it was really good. It was a really good kind of one-on-one kind of training. It wasn't any kind of cohort training. So I finished mindfulness facilitator or teacher training with him. Then I started yoga teacher training, where meditation was actually a part of the training that we did. And so the kind of mindfulness plus the meditation together is what kind of morphed into what I am today as a mindset strategist, in addition to like more psychology, right? And additional psychology courses, because I like to know all the different pieces. I don't think that one thing has all the answers. I think when you can kind of put things together and relate things in different ways to people, then it's more beneficial and value added. So kind of all three of these things together brings me to where I am now.
As the mindset strategist. Got it. Is that your phone?
My phone is on off.
Okay. All right. So what I do want to know, okay, so that's how you became the mindset strategist.
Mm-hmm.
So on top of, we're in QueenDoM, and this is where we have a conversation with women, especially Black women.
Mm-hmm.
So Black women have to show up in the world every day. Me and you do it. We do it. It's not a space where we have a lot of room to fail or it's not a lot of empathy for us. Mm-hmm. So when it comes to mindset, how do we continue to do this every day and say, okay, you should be successful. Because in corporate spaces, it's hard for it to have a good mindset sometimes, because sometimes you're not full of yourself, or if you are full of yourself, then someone might be fearful of who you are, and label you as aggressive or anything that is labeled amongst Black women.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So when it comes to mindset for a Black woman, what what can we do?
So one, I would say that I don't recommend doing it alone. And when I mean
Mm,
that, I mean have your team. Who are your people?
that's right. Your people.
Um, and I don't mean necessarily a partner,
Yes.
right?
Hmm.
These could be good girlfriends. This can be somebody you grew up with. This could be somebody you met last week if you vibe with them like that. Because you need a space to vent. You
Yes.
need a space to bounce off what you might be feeling to gauge whether it might be appropriate at the time or not, right?
Right.
So number one is have your team. Where your people at? Who are your go-to folks to where if you're not feeling yourself straight up and you lean into the left or the right a little bit, that can get you back up together. That's one. The
Okay.
second thing is to going back to what I said earlier, you have to be firm and confident in who you are, no matter what the space that you're in. So I have worked in corporate environments. I have worked in government environments as well. And everything that you say is absolutely true. But the other thing that is also true is I know who I am. So no matter what your someone else's behavior might be, I'm still going to show up how I am.
Love it.
When you're really confident and don't be upset if you don't feel confident. It's an ongoing process, right? You know,
Right.
it's not like you can just get confident one day and it's like that all the time. It's not.
Yeah.
It's an ongoing process. And that's another reason why you have your crew to, you know, hype you up sometimes when you need a little
Yeah.
hyping up. But you have to be really firm in who you are. That means looking at how you feel about something and deciding what your response is going to be. Because a lot of times we respond emotionally to what somebody says instead of logically thinking through it and saying, is it even worth my energy to respond? Is
Yes.
it in my best interest to respond this way or that way? We just kind of pop off. Um, and I'm not saying that as a stereotype. I'm just saying people in general do that, right? Not just black women, but people in general, they'll pop off because we don't have good emotional control. We don't have a good, you know, emotional literacy about ourselves to know what triggers us, to know the signs that our body gives us when we might be going to the left a little bit. So when you start to know yourself that well, you can know what your triggers are. You can, you know, okay, my left eye twitching. I feel heat coming up the right side of my leg, whatever it is for you.
Yeah.
And you can say, okay, I feel this is coming on, which means this could happen next. So what are my choices to shift this for me? It don't even really matter about the other person because you can only control yourself. You cannot control anybody else. They can say all the things that they want to say, however they want to say it. The only thing you have control over is your response. That's it.
That's it. Mm. So you say you got to have your peoples.
You got to have your peoples and you got to spend time with you. Like
You
just
got to
you
know who you are.
know who you are.
Okay. And you
Yeah.
got to be very grounded in who you are.
You do. And it's an ongoing process. You know, Black women, especially, so busy doing stuff for other people that you don't
Yes.
take time to just be with yourself.
Yes.
Like to just be, you know, you think rest or quiet is a luxury and it's a necessity.
Mm.
And so you have to work on retraining your thinking to say, okay, let's say, for example, you're in a household where you may have a mate and some children. You have to train your thinking to be okay with telling them, look, when I get in the first 30 minutes, I'm going to speak to everybody, but I really don't want y'all to talk to me. I need to get myself together and give yourself 30 minutes to decompress or whatever it is that you
Mm.
do. Or maybe if you don't feel comfortable with that yet, maybe you sit in your car for 30 minutes before you come in the house, right? Because you're not quite ready to tell them, I don't want y'all to talk to me while I get myself together,
Yeah.
right? But whatever it is, to say it's okay for you to just sit and listen to music, take a nap, listen to a meditation, or listen to silence if you choose, whatever it is, to just be and kind of go over your own thoughts and your feelings, or even review how your day was, right? And really, because you might have been rushing around so much, you didn't even really get time to process what happened.
I know. Yeah.
Right.
Yep. Yep. Black women, we're busy, and a lot of times, and you're right, we take care of a lot of other people without taking care of ourselves. So yeah, I wanted to know what should we do in our mindset. But another thing I read, like in your bio, like you help people with anxiety and these disorders that people. Well, I don't think they're disorders. I want to say that things that people are going through, PTSD. So, what are some tools for those type of folks?
So
Experiencing those type of things.
I didn't necessarily seek out that type of people. I think maybe just kind of my personality feel good to those type of people. So those are oftentimes clients that I get. It's really different for each person.
Okay.
But I would say one of the things that I like to suggest when for people who experience anxiety or other things of that kind of nature, is when you're in a situation when you're feeling those feelings well up, change your orientation. And what I mean is, if you're hearing the person's in your face or whatever, or on the side of you, turn, like physically move your body to another direction. And they might be like, don't turn away from me. Just be like, hold up, I need a minute. And look in another direction and see what you can see in that direction. Like focus on something that's not in the direction from the stuff that's going on. Because you would be surprised how differently you can feel by just a physical change of perspective.
So just like a refocus.
I mean, if you're able to, go to another room or go outside, that can make a really huge difference in quickly changing your perspective. So if you can physically move, do that. That would be one thing that I would say. Another thing is I like tactile things that you can touch. For people, because oftentimes all this stuff going on in your brain, your breath, can't think straight. So if you have something physical, it could be a necklace, it could be like bracelets, if you have stone bracelets or something like that. If you're a crystal person, you might have crystals in your pocket, whatever it is for you to remind you. Most of the time, if someone is experiencing anxiety, that's something that they don't feel safe in some way. That's their reminder. I'm okay. I feel safe. And touch the thing, whether it be a bracelet, earrings, necklace, something in your pocket. It could be a string, to be honest. It doesn't even have to be anything fancy, but find what works for you that's tactile, that you can touch in those moments you feel those feelings, to remind you, I'm safe. I'm okay. I'll be all right. And so I would say that would be the other thing that's kind of a general thing that you can do if you experience anxiety or any kind of social, disorders where you might feel unsafe, that could help you out in a pretty quickly.
Yeah. I know some people who are anxious and they medicate, like it's like, especially socially, they go out and drink so it can loosen them up. And then, that can become something too. Then you start depending on alcohol.
Yeah. And that's a temporary fix, right? Like it helps them in the moment. It doesn't help, long term. I'm not a therapist, so I can't, I wouldn't say, well, they need to do this or need to do that. But alcohol or any kind of substance that's unprescribed, or where you haven't talked to your trusted professional about, is a temporary fix.
Sure.
And the temporary fix is that it gets your mind off of whatever it is, instead of training your brain to say, I recognize that this is an issue and what are my choices? Because a lot of times when we're like, oh, I don't want to do this, is you feel like you don't have a choice. right?
Got
A
it.
lot of what we experience is in terms of anxiety anyway, is you don't feel like you have a choice. I'm stuck here. I have to do this. I have to go to this meeting. I don't want to go to. You actually do have a choice. And sometimes your choice could be no, but you may not feel like you have the choice to say no, but you do.
You do.
You know, so what I help do in some cases it may be a therapist, and oftentimes my clients also go to therapy because we kind of work at things a little bit differently, is to, you know, help with those things to kind of retrain your mind. You know, the therapist helps with the things in the past. So the reason the way that you are right now has to do with some past experiences, whether it be your own experience or whether they be ancestral. I can't say either way, right? But the therapist helps you to identify what those experiences are so that you can then start to begin to think differently about them and how they affected you, right? Because you might know what the experience is, but not really fully understand how it affected you.
Sure.
That's what the therapist does, right? It's like from here back. As a coach, I'm saying, okay, you're right here and you want to go over here. The therapist does that too, but the bulk of their stuff is like past stuff, helping you get resolution to that past stuff. As a coach, you're right here, you have a goal, there's something that you want to do moving forward, and that's what I help you with, the moving forward part. That's why I say it takes a team. It can't just be the therapist or just the coach or just the girl. Everybody need a lot of people. And it's one thing in our culture that we've gotten away from, that is, oh, I can take care of it myself. I'm good. I don't need nobody. Lies, lies, lies. Those are all lies.
All lies.
You need your people. And it doesn't have to, again, be a whole bunch of people. It might be 2 or 3 trusted friends. It might be one. But to really evolve and move through this world at our highest level, we need to have interaction with other people.
The old adage, no man is an island.
Absolutely.
It's very true, you know. And our spiritual being understood that we need other people, or wouldn't be many of us. And the world is very populated, and we continue to populate it. So it's important to have that human interaction. But a lot of people say it's all in your mind. You know, like when people say they're anxious and they're depressed, oh, that's just in your mind. And so if it's in your mind, how do you strategize something that's in your mind?
Well, sometimes,
you know what I'm saying?
Well, for some people, it's not all in their mind. There is some biological reasons for some people to experience these kind of experiences, right? So it is in your mind, but it could be affecting your mind because of your biology. Right.
There you go.
That's why I said, I don't subscribe to just one kind of way of thinking. All these things are a factor. So it could, if your situation has to do with your biology, then getting some support for that, along with working on your mind, will then get you to your highest level. But it could be that your biology has a certain point where it doesn't matter how much you change your thinking. Your biology is your biology. Now, can you change your biology? To some degree, yes. But oftentimes, when people have kind of really extreme kind of anxieties and stuff, this is a long-term over thing. People don't realize how stressors physically affect people. It affects your muscles. It affects how your brain connects and how the things snap between the things. Like, it affects a lot. And it may not be physical where somebody can see, but your whole, system, your endocrine system, all of it is affected when you have these traumatic experiences. And everybody has them. You're not human without a traumatic experience.
Okay.
Understanding that there are levels to it, right? Everything is not a car crash or something like that. But for example, it's very much, I don't know if accepted is the word anymore, but it wasn't uncommon to find people whose parents yelled at them a lot.
Yeah.
Like pretty much constantly.
Yep.
That's traumatic. if you are
Wow.
consistently being told you're not good enough, consistently spoken to in a manner that makes you feel degraded, that's trauma.
Mm.
Now, they didn't physically put their hands on you, but the way that those words and those feelings affected how you developed emotionally and mentally, that's in your body.
Mm.
And
Wow.
until you kind of work that out, that's exercise is great, whether it be running or biking or yoga or whatever, to help move some of that stuff. You can't do all the work up here. You got to physically move too, right? You can't just work on the mind and be like, okay, I'm gonna be all right. No, you need to move the body too, because it has that muscle memory. It's not just muscle memory in terms of I can walk. It's muscle memory in terms of emotions too.
Wow. That's something. Because sometimes I'm in the stove and the young girl, she cursing out the baby. And it's so hurtful sometimes. I
Make
don't
you
know
want
why.
to cry
Yeah, why grown-ups are cursing at children.
because they were cursed at.
You
They
got
were yelled at. That's
mm,
the style of communication that is familiar to them.
mm,
And they've normalized that, even though it's not normal.
listen at you. I mean, that's the truth. And I see it and I'm hurting. So the child can't rationalize as much as I can. And I'm like, this is the beginning of a chaotic person.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
we say that, oh, I don't know why he act like that. Yes, you do. Because we're planting these type of seeds into our babies
Mm-hmm.
because we
Absolutely.
haven't healed ourselves. I think Black people are we're the most traumatized people on earth. I think. I can't say, and I might be wrong, but from my experience as a Black person, and especially in these European nations, we're
Mm-hmm.
the most traumatized people in the world. And that's not been addressed. That's what I would say. Because other people have trauma, but it hasn't been addressed or even recognized as trauma.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, move on. You can, things are better
Right.
now, but
Right.
all of those traumas that we have actually eaten, it's like we're eating food. We continue to digest trauma. And now it's digested and now it's being it's like we're throwing up and you see the chaos. We can kill each other at a drop of a dime. You know what I'm saying? We can hurt each other. The way we talk about it, the way we communicate with each other, no unity. It's all
Right.
starts in trauma. And so the mindset of just being Black and being African and going every day and being the best you can, where do we get these mindsets? How do we keep doing this?
Well, you keep doing it because you think that that's the only way, right? Again, you think that's the only option available to you. However, with shows like this, how people show up in the world every day with the
Yeah.
next person, show to give them an example that they have another choice,
Mm.
right? So, in the example of the woman yelling at her child in the store,
Yes. Call them all type of motherfuckers. Excuse my language. It's
right? Right. Whatever it is, right?
Mhm.
Normally, in our world now is, oh, I'm not going to get involved, this,
Yeah.
that, or the other, right?
Right.
What if you went up to her and said, hey, sis, you need some help with something? It looks like you got some things going on here. You need some help? Can I offer you some assistance?
We're afraid of each other.
Right?
Unfortunately. Yes.
And she might cuss you. She might.
She might.
She might say yes. She might say no. You don't know what she might do. But what you did in that moment
We'll
is,
stop the
one,
attack.
help to cease that, but
Yeah.
also show her that there's somebody that's willing to help you. You mad at the child because you ain't got no help or whatever, right? But there's somebody willing to help you. And even if she cuss you, it might be somebody else in the store who thought about cussing a child and said, you know what? They might still do it, but a little teeny grain of sand then dropped in their consciousness that, do I yell at my child because I need some help?
Wow.
Right. So it may not even be that you impact that person directly. It could be that you indirectly impacted someone else. It could be that that woman break down crying. You don't know. Right. But
so you're saying say something. Are you saying say something?
Yes. Just sis, do you need some help? I see it's a lot. I know these kids are really busy. You need some help with something?
Yeah.
That took what? 10 seconds?
That's true.
Right? No. And then you should say, I don't need no MFing help. Okay, sis. Well, I just thought I know they get real busy sometimes. I thought I might offer you some help because I'm just thought I asked if you needed some help. And you don't take it personal because you don't know her. So what you gonna have an attitude for because she cussed at you?
She cussing at the baby, so she gonna cuss me out for sure.
Right. So there's no need to take it personal.
That's true.
It's not about you. It's all about what's going on in her mind and what's going on in her circumference. But you're just letting her know there is somebody here that wouldn't mind helping you. That could change, the space that she's in the moment.
That's a great answer. I mean, because, I see it all the time. And I think, like I said, we're traumatized. And this trauma, we continue, and it's becoming, like you said, ancestral. We're passing generational trauma on and on in our community. And it's important. And I think that's why the mindset was so important to talk about, because it all starts there. It's how you approach things. But how do you clean up a mind that you haven't even dealt with the trauma? How do you get to a good mindset?
Well, that is a complex thing. All I can say, really around that is every person has to start with themselves. Like you have to start the work on yourself. You got to figure out what your issues are. It doesn't mean that you can't help anybody, beyond that, but you got to start to deal with your own stuff. The very popular term for it right now is shadow work, right? That's dealing with your ish that you don't really want to deal with, that makes you the way that you are, right? So shadow work is a very popular term that talks about a person needing to deal with their stuff so that they can evolve, right? Sis girl may not even understand that she got some stuff to deal with until someone until something else comes across her path. That's why it says it starts with each individual person. How are you showing up in every space that you're in? Right? Yeah, we got on masks, but you can smile with your eyes. You can nod.
Yeah.
If the parent might have a mean face on and they dragging the child, you can wave at the kid.
Yeah.
Parent might loosen up a little bit, maybe not. Right? But it's how each person has to show up every day, right? So that others can have the opportunity to know that they can be something different.
So this is a self-actualization, in a way it is. Yeah, to access your mindset. You got to want to do it. That's first.
Yeah, you have to want to do. You have to want You have to want to do something different than what you're doing now. You may not even recognize it as mindset. Sure. You just have to say, I want to do something different. I don't want to continue along this path. Right?
This ain't working.
This ain't working.
Yeah, we're gonna try something new. So we're gonna try something new. Recognize that listen, I'm gonna try something differently, and then you start working on how you are showing up and what you can do to change that. And that's when you get mindful. That's
exactly.
That's the mindfulness that that you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah, it's you start real simple. Like I'll give you an example. So I'm in a lot of gardening groups, but in this particular gardening group, a lady said, I've been in this group for a long time. Okay, I think I'm finally ready, but I have no idea how to start. I don't know how long she's been in the group or anything. So people are giving their suggestions, showing them their plots, and some more elaborate than others. Yeah. And her base question was, how do I get started? I said, they're saying, well, get this kind of pot, get this, build this, do this. I said, get a container that has drainage. That's all I said. Container with drainage, some potting soil, and a seedling. You're gardening.
It's just that simple, damn it.
It does not have to be. You don't have to start nothing from seed to be a gardener. You don't have to build no boxes. You don't have to have no special pot. Something that will drain the water out the bottom.
Yeah.
Some potting soil and a seedling from your nursery or Home Depot or Lowe's. That's it. You're a gardener now.
I hear that. So that. So it's like start where you are. It's
just
simple.
Start where you
need
are.
to drain. you need to drain some stuff out you. You need to,
you have something with some nutrients in there and a little spark or something that can take off.
That gardening is life right now.
It's always life for me. Everything comes back to gardener to me.
You know it. So you just
everything.
We just took it in like that's what humans need. Like you got to drain some of this shit out you. Excuse my language. And then you need some new. You got to put some new pot and soil or some new stuff in. And then you can start. You need that seedling, that spark to bloom.
And that spark could be something you saw somebody do, you overheard somebody, or somebody. Listen, I can't tell you how many stories that I have read about people who another person simply spoke to them, changed their whole life. And I'm like, not even joking. Like, this is like not,
And some people don't even mean to. They're just giving you a word.
That person, I've read several accounts where people had thought about ending their life. They thought nobody cared about them, that they thought they were unseen. And somebody said, hi, how you doing today? And in that moment, they realized somebody does see me.
Really? Is that serious?
Is that serious sometimes? So, for me, like I live in downtown Baltimore, very close to where a lot of homeless people are. I speak to everybody. Now, they don't all speak back to me, and it's okay. But I say hello to everyone. No matter how they look, how they present, whether they speak or not. Because I'm letting them know I see you. When I used to live in the hood, where there was a lot of activity,
you lived in the hood?
All of them too. Girl, I used to live off Harlem Avenue.
Oh, you lived in the hood.
In the hood. And guess what? I know none of their names, but I spoke to all of them. Hey, how y'all doing today? Hey, sis, good. And I looked them in the face. I'm not looking down. I'm not looking up. I'm not looking around.
Yeah.
I see you.
I speak to people and sometimes they jump.
Oh, yeah. It happens a lot because they don't expect you to.
They don't expect you to speak. But, I'm one of those. I speak to everybody almost. And, I just talk to you. Like, listen, I want to make you talk. Some people like, can you just leave me alone? I'm like, still talking. Like,
I don't know about that. And then I was raised in the South. Almost people just speak. Like, it's just.
Down South, everybody speaks to each other.
Yeah. I don't have to know you.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's true. I think some of that is what we need to do. We need to stop with all of this being so pretentious. Just speak to another human. It takes more energy to not speak than to say hi.
Listen, I would challenge folks who are watching this or who may watch the replay, who typically do not speak, right? The next time they go to pass somebody and they don't speak, pay attention to how your body feels. What does your body do when you see another person and you don't speak?
Let me tell you, it's so inherent to some of these. I don't.
But I'm gonna challenge them. What does your body do? I'm going to venture to guess that at least 7 out of 10 people are going to say some part of their body tenses up, or they shift their body away from the person in some way.
It's some type of body language.
Some type of body language.
Yeah.
Of you not speaking.
Yeah, you're right. Even when I walk past them people, white folks, they give you that smile, smirk. I'm like, what the hell is that? Why not just say hi? But that's their thing, not only white people, black people
I
do
was
it.
gonna say not only them.
Yeah, because it used to, when I was younger, it wasn't a lot of black people do it too. They just, this is smirk that we do. Just speak, just say hi, and sometimes when you do that, I just say hi. Like,
it's just the universal, what's up? Or head down now. Well, either up or down. Either way.
I know that head nod.
If you just feel like I don't want to talk today, you can.
That head nod,
Whichever one. That could suffice as an interaction too.
Okay.
Not, I'm going to look at you and then shift my eyes away as I walk past you.
I see it all the time.
And I still be like, hi, hello.
The elevator, and they won't say nothing. Golly, it's just me and you in here. But it happens all the time, and I think that.
But you can't control nobody else, right? So you can only control your energy, your aura, how you put out and present in the world.
That's true.
But even though that they may not, and that could feel draining, that's what you had your people for, right? Because you might have been spoke to everybody today and 2 people spoke back to you. Then you go back to your listen, y'all. Today, these folks was out there. I was just speaking and stuff, and they just, and they be like, "Girl, you fabulous. Don't worry about them." Da 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 da. And your cup filled right back up.
Yeah, you need your peoples.
You need your peoples.
You need your peoples. So y'all listening? You got to have your crew. You got to know whose you are.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be grounded in that.
Yep.
And you got to have grace. I think for the world, have some grace, yo.
Did you say grace,
sister? I said grace. You gotta have some grace for people and some empathy, because everybody is different. Everybody's path is different. We gotta have grace for each other.
Listen, grace is one of my favorite acronyms. I contributed a chapter to a book.
Okay,
and grace is one of my acronyms, and grace in the book for me is this.
Okay.
Get grounded so that you can make space to reframe and accelerate your compassion for self and others with ease.
Oh, you better stop it. You put that,
honey. I'm telling grace all the time. You got to have grace.
Oh, you got to read that again. Read that again.
Get grounded so that you can make space to reframe and accelerate your compassion for self and others with ease.
Let the church say amen. Shoot, I love that. One thing I try my best is to give grace daily. And it is something that sometimes regrounds me. It's like,
I was going to say, you better start with yourself. You better start with grace for yourself first.
You better know it. You better know. You got to have some grace. Like, we're not perfect. You're going to make mistakes. Mm-hmm. You're going to do some bad decisions. You're going to overeat and be, you're going to be you're going to get low fat. Things happen. Give yourself some grace and go back and do whatever it is to fix it. That's like in mindfulness. That's like mindset.
Exactly. And that's a perfect transition to talking about mindfulness, right? Grace and mindfulness is, they cousins. They go together.
They go together.
Right? Giving yourself grace is the understanding that this thing or things may happen. But even once that happens, again, you have a choice.
Yes.
Right? The choice could be go to the left, or the choice could be go to the right.
Yes.
And sometimes you might even have a choice for up or down too. You might even have more than 2 choices, right? Yep. But mindfulness, the practice of it, helps to train you to pause so that you can see what those options are. Right? So we've been talking about food because I do enjoy food quite a bit. In the example you say you might eat too much, right? Mm-hmm. Let's say instead of eat too much, you want to eat this cupcake, and you know that it's above and beyond your allocation for the day,
sure,
so to speak, right?
Yes.
But you really want this cupcake.
Want that cupcake, John.
Right?
Yes.
The choice is you could deprive yourself and possibly be agitated and irritated and mad about it. That's one option.
Mm-hmm.
The choice could be to eat half the cupcake. Okay. The choice could be to eat the whole cupcake and then do an extra 45 minutes of exercise. You got choices.
Yeah, you got some choices there. That's true.
Right? But give yourself, if you ate the cupcake without even thinking about the choices, well, you didn't eat it now. Okay, well, what are my choices now? Well, I'm going to have to get them calories for tomorrow. I'm going to have to cut back and I'm going to have to increase my activity. Give yourself grace.
Yeah, some grace. Yeah.
And with that grace comes options.
You better know
always a choice. There's always I know a lot of people just be like, I don't have a choice. I don't have a choice. You always have a choice.
You always have a choice.
Now, you don't always like the choices. Now, there's that. But you always have choices.
You always have a choice. So is that what mindset is important, that you can always, because, you know, like you said, the person that just want to be seen, that, you know, even in your mind, do you have to be seen by other people? Can you look in the mirror and just see who you are?
And I would say if you're a person who wants to be seen, it's going to start with you, right? Because you're not even, so you're not even, you're wanting that acknowledgement from others because you don't feel that, you don't have that well within yourself yet. Like, I don't believe that people don't have it. It's just not developed.
Sure.
Right? So for a person that wants to be seen, I might, you know, recommend to them or talk with them about mirror work or affirmations, right? Mirror work means you stand in front of the mirror and you talk to yourself, basically. That's what it is in a nutshell, right? That's this real short version. To get used to looking at yourself. Listen, some people might call it vanity, but I look at myself a lot.
Can you tell me why? Can you work?
I enjoy myself. I enjoy looking at me. I like to look at and I like to have an awareness of me, my body, what it looks like, what's going on with it, you know, whatever.
But some people don't like them. You know, they don't want to see. They might not be the body they want.
That's the thing. It's not about the body. It is a simple acknowledgement of who you are. It's not a judgment. It's not I scar easy. I got scars everywhere. That don't stop me from looking at myself.
Got it.
Right? Yeah. You know, the judgment piece is what turns the conversation. And there's, you know, therapy can help with that. Coaching can help with it a little bit, right? But the initial of it is just getting used to being okay with looking at you.
You better know it.
You know, without mindfulness, John Kabat-Zinn, the psychologist, his definition of mindfulness is paying attention on purpose in the moment without judgment.
Whoa.
All 4 pieces. Paying attention in the moment. On purpose. Without judgment. And so these pieces together, you may not get all the pieces initially, and some pieces might wander off, but it's the intention. That's the on purpose part, right? You're intending to think specifically about what's going on. And, you know, a lot of times people will say, well, if I'm just paying attention to what's going on, how I'm going to, you know, work on my goals and stuff like that. Well, you still can work on goals, but I'll give you a prime example. And everybody does this. I do it too. Let me ask you, when you're brushing your teeth, what do you think about?
When I'm brushing my teeth, it's a real process for me. So you might not want to ask me. I'm thinking I'm thinking about how long, because I want to brush for at least 3 minutes. Mm-hmm. And I really work with my teeth. So I concentrate on the brush. I really am trying to do a good job to clean them and all of that.
That's a fantastic and a fine. Any answer would have been a fantastic answer, but I'm gonna tell you why it's fantastic for my purposes. Because what you are doing is you are being mindful while you're brushing your teeth.
Yeah,
You are paying attention to the brush, the motions of the brush, where you put the brush, the whatever it is that you're being very intentional on that process at the moment.
I am.
You ask most people what they're thinking about when they brush their teeth is what I'm gonna wear today, what I'm gonna feed these kids for breakfast, am I gonna be on time? It's everything except for
The teeth.
brushing your teeth.
Yeah.
Like
When
being
you get older,
intentional and thinking about brushing your teeth. It's
yeah,
a simple, not easy for everybody, but it's a simple exercise to practice mindfulness. When you're brushing your teeth, just think about brushing your daggone teeth.
but we live in this fast-paced life. Okay, what I'm gonna eat, what I gotta do for the
You
kids,
don't have to.
what I gotta do
You
this.
can choose not to.
There you go, the choice. But the
But it's
pursuit.
a simple practice to help you
Yeah,
start to train yourself to be present in the moment.
yeah. But you know what? How I kind of gained. So I think I've gained some. You're the strategist, so let me not say I did it. But I think I've gained some mindfulness. But the biggest thing for me was not going into work every day.
Mm-hmm.
Like that process is such a process that's structured. You do this, you usually do the same things. You got you got so much going on and you want to get there on time because you got to be there on time. COVID kind of dispelled that for a lot of people. Even though I work in the health field, I still had to go to work, but I don't work like I used to work. So once I stopped, and I didn't like it neither. So that was another thing.
Well,
So stop doing something I didn't like, and then also not doing it as much. So I concentrate more on things that's important to me.
Right.
And I think sometimes we have to shift our life to find a better mindset, because sometimes the things we're doing is holding us back from mindfulness. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's
I agree with that to a point.
okay.
But I am 98% of the time going to come back to say it's nothing holding you back, but the choice that you make. You may have made that choice because you felt like you didn't have any other choice, but I don't personally believe there's anything that I can't do if I want to do it. I understand that is not a popular way of thinking around most people, and that way of thinking is for me because that's how I was raised up, right? So we're talking about these ancestral things, these things that go back, right? So whatever I want to do, I feel like I can do it. And if I don't want to do something anymore, then I say to myself, well, GaLanda, if you don't want to do that anymore, then what you going to do not to do that? It's really like just that simple for me. I understand it's not that simple for everybody.
So you can do it, or you could say, what am I going to do not to do? I love that. That ends the dilemma. Like, you ain't got to do it, but just find out what you're going to do not to do it.
Right. People have told me in the past, "Ooh, you switch jobs. You change a job in a minute." Well, I didn't like that job anymore.
Ooh.
There's lots of jobs out here. I know people say there's not a lot of jobs. It may not be jobs that you want to do at the moment, but there's always another job.
You know what? You have that's it. That's a mindset right there, because people say, you stay on your job security, you need your benefits, and da-da-da-da-da. And none of that makes any sense now, because these corporations don't give a damn about no benefits or no seniority, none of that. So you're staying on these jobs and you might not be happy, but you're like, listen, I'm moving on.
It does take training
for
yourself, right? You might need a facilitator like myself or a therapist or whatever to help you realize that you have the power, right?
That's it.
We walk around as if we are puppets, and that other people control us. Like, one of the mindsets that I'm still working on handling myself that agitates me from other people is the man, right? And this does not say that I clearly understand how systematic things happen. I do. but the man keeping me down and the man this and
Why are you trying to negate the man? The man is present, damn it.
the man is there virtually. The systems, they absolutely, I acknowledge that.
Okay.
But in any person's particular space, if the man agitates you and you have a certain skill set, look for something else with that same skill set.
Or create.
Or create something. Listen, I
love that. I definitely love that. Listen, I love that.
And understand that everybody's pace is different, right? Like, so I'm not saying it's like a light switch and you just flip it and then it goes. It might take you a year or two or even 3. But the thing is, in your mind, you are thinking differently about your situation. You know, you might not lead a job right away. It might take you 2 years. It might take you 3 years, but you're thinking differently about it.
Yes, you're structuring your move.
You're structuring your move in terms of, I'm going in here mad every day because I don't like whatever. When instead you can say, you know what? I'm thankful that I have this employment. Then this can help me. This will be stable while I strategize what I'm going to do next.
Yep.
So I don't need to be mad going in here, because this is going to hold me down until I decide what I'm going to. You may not even have a clue what you're going to do next. But in your mind, you say, you know what? I can do something next. So
that's mindset right there. That's straight mindset right there. That's like explaining to yourself that, listen, you okay, but just take your time and we're going to move on. I love that. Listen, that is why listen, guys, mindset is important.
It is. And, you know, some people may say, well, sometimes people are in really highly stressful situations, you know, absolutely, where HR might be involved. They might be being harassed. Mm-hmm. Even then, right, you may be a victim, but you can be a victim still with some power, in that you can't control what the other person is doing to you, but you can control how you respond. So I'm going to take another kind of extreme example because they're easy to understand. Let's say you're being harassed at work and you have let the supervisor know, okay, they didn't really do nothing. You didn't went to HR. They didn't really do nothing. Most people think that once they go to HR, that's it, right? Like, it's nothing else I can do. I could just leave the job. Well, you might not be ready to leave the job, maybe for whatever reason. Who knows why? If HR don't help you, there's equal opportunity office that governs how businesses are supposed to act. Go to the next level.
Keep going.
If you can afford it, hire a lawyer. Until you decide that you don't want to be there anymore and you have made the plans to move. It's not going to stop them from doing what they're doing, but you have some control of what you're going to do.
That is a great tool. I mean, right? I love that.
So you can be being victimized and still exercise some level of power within your own responses.
Listen, Africans we have done that since the beginning of time. Being victims and releasing power in that victim, in that victimizing state. So we can do it. This is beautiful. I mean, I appreciate this one. Mm-hmm. Mindset. It is important. The way you think and the way you approach everything that you do starts in a thought process in the mind.
It does. It does. And like I said, you know, there's tools and things that I use to help people, but you have to deal with that past stuff. Like there's no amount of tools that I can give you that if you don't look back, figure out what effed you up in the first place and deal with that, there's no amount of tools that I can give you that's going to help you move forward. It's going to be temporary, just like the drinking and the smoking.
It's part of healing.
You have to do that shadow work. You have to deal with that stuff.
Yes.
I'm not qualified for that. That's what they have psychologists and psychiatrists for.
Sure.
And if you are fortunate enough, you might be in a community, because there are communities where there might not be licensed professionals, but there have been elders who can help you move through these things, right?
Absolutely.
So some people might say, well, I can't afford, this or that and the other. And there's a lot of resources available to people. If you don't know, feel free to reach out to me. I will help you find a resource now. But you might live in a community where the elders can help you kind of move through this, right? However it is, address that stuff.
Address it. It is the most important thing that we start releasing our trauma.
Release it.
Yes, and developing my strategy and mindset that is going to keep us going forward and keep us being positive beings. It's very
and let me be clear on this too. Not every you can't release everything, but you can transmute it. You can transform it.
I hear you. You can transform the situation. Oh yeah. So listen, I've enjoyed you. I want to give you the last jewel, just your last jewel. You're going to leave the jewel, leave something that people be like, I got to get that. Leave that jewel.
A last jewel. Ooh, you didn't put me on the spot.
Well, you don't put Grace in here. You don't put all of this stuff in there. You got to leave them with something else. The last jewel.
Last jewel.
Mindset. Yes. The mindset strategist.
Okay. My last jewel is that, whatever change you are looking to make, whether it be in your mindset, whether it be with your eating habits, whether it be with your boundaries, happens with small steps. It is not a big major shift. It comes with small steps. And one small step that everybody who is above ground can do is with your breath. And if you find that you're in a situation where whatever is going on, think about, let me take one breath. Just start with one breath and pay attention to how that air comes into your body, what it does for you, and releasing that air out. Life happens with one breath at a time. So if you think of it that way, whatever's going on, and you say, I can't handle this too much, one breath. Let me take one breath. And if you can get through that one breath, then you can take one more. And just take it one at a time, whether it be with your mental health, whether it be with your physical health, whether it be with your job, whether it be your relationships. It's just one step at a time.
Love that. One step at a time. Tell the people how to get in touch with you.
So you can get in touch with me through my website, which is www.GaLandaB.com. I am on all the social media channels as @GaLanda B, GaLanda B. So you can hit me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all of the things. You can get to me. But my website, www.GaLandaB.com, or the links on either one of my social media pages.
Listen, I've so enjoyed this conversation.
Me too.
I really have, because mindset is so important. And, you even gave me some tools. So, and that's what I'm here for, to give the people some tools. So that's what's up. So we appreciate your, the jewel, all of this good stuff you brought in.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I feel very honored. You've had a lot of great people on the show. And so I'm like, ooh, I'm in good company.
You are, and you're in QueenDoM. This is my, I think my second queen.
Yay, thank you.
This is this segment we do with women, especially Black women. And I knew you would be a great addition, and I appreciate it.
Humbled.
Yeah, mindfulness is a thing that we as Africans, we need. We need to, we got to have it. We go through a lot in the everyday situation, and we gotta use our mind to make it better for us, and not like a worse place for us to live.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you, Black Box Radio,
Yay.
coming in today, and we're out of here. We're
All
going to
right,
some
y'all.
deuces. We gone.
Yes. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. So we're going to end the broadcast.